even doing? What are we even doing in this crazy world on a Super Bowl Smooper Bowl Sunday? The decision to go live. Are you crazy? Have you gone loco? I'll tell you what this is. This is the 8th layer of the dip, if you ask me. We're gonna have a great time. We're just gonna get in, get out. This is the blitz. This is entirely what this is. Let me know if you can see me out there everywhere, anywhere. I'm trying to be extra double crazy, so why not stream it out there to the Facebook, to the Instagram, to the vertical, to the sideways, to the I don't even know. We got Andrew FNL out there across the pond checking in. I appreciate all of y'all. It's been a crazy weekend, and I'm just glad to be here anywhere if you're watching. Let us know where you're watching from, either what corner of the earth or what corner of the digital nomad society, what app you're on. I'm seeing many, many bubbles in all this. We're going to talk about theory today, but mostly we're going to rock about theory today. We're going to walk about it. We're going to go on a little walkabout about it and make sure that you understand theory in a better and more useful way. That's my hope. No guarantees, no refunds. Remember, free entertainment. But I think if you just put on your Sunday sort of slippers and we'll just take a mosey through how we might use theory in a way that's actually useful and constructive and helpful. And I guarantee you, I can only teach what I know. You'll know when I'm teaching something I don't know. More on that when we get to diminished chords and stuff. Well, let's just, before we get into all that, have a good old-fashioned warm bath of A minor sauce, okay? JB, go make the snacks. I gotta make my award-winning guacamole in a little bit. And it is award-winning. It is sought after and recommended. This year's batch is gonna be a little spicy. Building the house from the ground up. We're going to get into the bricks and the mortar of the major scale. Ooh. Awesome. Yeah, be excited. A little more time here to kick off the tires. We got the Instagram over here. I'm looking at my phone here. Good evening, Carl. Good evening, JD Fink. Good evening, Jeff Moody and Tom McCann. From Florida, no less. Maryland for JD Fink. Looking over here on Facebook, not really representing too strongly yet. If you're there, let us know you're there. If you're there on the YouTube, I see you. Hello, guitar friends. Rob Bayless in the house. Rob Bayless. Okay, for those that know, we have been working on this throughout the week. We do our workouts, guitar workout of the day. That is the website, if you're wondering. My name's Tim Fagan. I'm a hit songwriter and music producer. And I've always loved guitar. It's my number one crown jewel. These days, I'm trying to learn how to play piano. So more on that. I need someone to be my piano friend. But I'm actually learning a lot of good stuff from Open Studio. They're a fantastic platform. But what we're talking about today is an example of what we were doing in our workouts throughout the week. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, we get together and we go live. And this on Saturdays usually, but today is Sunday. And if you're watching this in the future, today is every day. It's whatever you want it to be. But this will be sort of a culmination, a sort of like throwing together the turducken and dipping it into the broiling hot oil of talking about theory in a way that we can really use it. And I didn't really tease it in the title, but there was a breakthrough on the 4th day that has me really excited. And it basically turns playing the chord tones, aka moving with the chord changes, into something as simple and satisfying, a little bit challenging as like a crossword puzzle. But the way that we get to that sort of word search or crossword puzzle feeling where you can kind of have a battle plan is that we're going to have to break down the major scale, get excited, roll up your sleeves. There will be some things that maybe make your brain hurt, but not I can't guarantee what you're going to feel. Let me know as we go where your pain threshold is. And let's start by digging into the world famous, undefeated champion of major scales, C major. No sharps, no flats. Paul Hunt in the house. Definite New Englander there. He has a lot of rings already, Paul Hunt, but he wants some more. In the post-Brady era, just thinking that they're due again. They're hankering for it. So let's look at the C major scale. And in fact, let's look at a spot that we like to play it. You tell me in the chat, what fret do you like to start your C major scale on? And if you don't have one in mind, then, just leave it open. Leave it open. Yeah, this is a jam stick in a Strat body style. Just saw the question about the Strat. And so it's got the single coils and it's got this nice little humbucker, has a different tone over there. Versus the neck kind of. And of course it has the MIDI pickup, which gives me the power of the dots. That's the power of dots. All right, 3rd fret. Somebody said 3rd fret A string. Sure, why not? It'll be, I think, easier on all of us as well. So let's do this. And as we do any of these things, I want you to know, I want to reassure you that we're going to actually walk through these and use it. It's not just going to be a lot of talky, as much as you know that I'm prone to doing that. Okay, great. Let me know as I draw this out on a scale of 1 to 4, and this little the poll on the screen will interact with, if you're watching on YouTube, you can answer 1, 2, 3, or 4. Does this scale position right here make sense to you? Are you familiar with it? This is based around the ultimate caged sort of shape, because this is C in the C shape. So wow, like peas and carrots, C, back home where it all began. And I circled the roots, so C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, right? Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. So there's something about guitar that I want to bring into the conversation early on that is basically, it's essential that you start to realize that all along when you're learning these things, theory, playing the guitar, we learn by shape, we learn by letters, we learn by numbers. And there's not one that's better than the other. You will use all of them. So if you're the type of person that as you learn something on the internet, you're like, wait, but which one should I do? Or which one, we got to avoid the could and should, and which one's better. And that's sort of like that ultimate, this is the one that you need to do and don't do this one. Because if you trust the process, you're going to start to realize there's times that you're going to want to just purely play by shape. And just be like, that's how I play the shape, and that's how I grab the shape, and I don't know what's going on there, but I know how to get there. If that gets you to the gig, then that's fine. That's usually phase 1. Someone shows you where to put your fingers, right? So the evolution of when you have a question of like, yeah, but why, that leads you to more digging. And so we're going to answer some of those yeah, but whys, and we're going to equip you with the things that you need. So with the letters, what's great about the letters, and in fact, I have a thing here, and you'll see it if you're watching on the horizontal. I have the vertical format too. I think I can turn it on here. I've had it on this week. It's the piano keys. Boom. So let's imagine we're playing the white keys on the piano. That's why this is like everyone's favorite beginner key, because you don't have to hit any black notes. You're just going straight from the next white key to the next white key. And if I go from this right here, go ahead and play this with me, and we'll put on a little backing beat. And we'll play the C major scale from this C up to the next C, just 1 octave, and we'll go real slow. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3. I'm saying slow. D, 2, 3, 4, E, 2. If you can, say it and play it with me, and look at all the ways in which we're lighting up the piano keyboard. We've got our virtual fretboard. I mean, do we have enough gimmicks for you yet? Are you not a freaking fly? That's really in here. Oh, timeout. Flag on the field. Has anyone ever had that thing? It's freezing outside when like one fly gets in the house, and apparently they brought a special someone fly, because suddenly you have flies, plural, in the house. We run a clean ship here. Not the cleanest of clean ships. We do have a puppy, but I promise we don't have a pile of poop out in the kitchen that we know of. And so these flies are just clearly getting to me. Back to work, everyone. Let's play this again from the bottom to the top. We'll go a little bit faster this time. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, C, D, E. It was just so offensive that it landed on my finger. And here I am talking about dots, and I was just like, good grief. Ugh, unsettling. It's like if you go to a restaurant and the chef has a fly on his finger. I don't know if it's the same when the guitar player has a... Anyway, okay. Now let's talk about this in terms of numbers. You are going to be using the numbers, and imagine in a football analogy that we're just putting numbers on the backs of the jerseys of the players on the field. This becomes very helpful because I know you know how to talk in terms of numbers, like, oh, the 1, the 2, the 3. I'm sure you've experienced, like, you know, this is where we get the Nashville number system from, and we'll talk about that as we build this system right here. So let me see if I have these down here. Right here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. So you probably know that, and I don't assume anything, but I'll do my best to sort of like bring the beginners along as we're talking about this stuff with people that are intermediates. We're saying 1 here and 1 there again because it just repeats. This is a 7-note scale. All of your major scales, all of your minor scales, all of your modes, the Mixolydian, the Dorian, even if you don't know what's going on in them, they use 7 notes. That's a lot, but that's not too many. And that might just help you have some peace of mind to realize that it's just 7 notes. So C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, aka 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. And then it just repeats. And I put the C there on both ends to make sort of a nice bookend because that's helpful to kind of like punctuate. Let's go down. Let's go from this C and let's see if you can walk and talk your way through this because it's a little bit like doing the alphabet in reverse. Let's start with the letters. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, starting here. C, B, A, G, F, E, D, C. Now let's see if we can do the same thing using the numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Quick check-in. Was that difficult? Were you able to do the going up and going down and smoothly using the letters and using the numbers? And this is not any sort of like ego thing as much as it is just taking stock. If it was like super easy going one way and then super difficult the moment that we change one thing, maybe the letters were really easy going in reverse. Maybe the numbers were really easy. Maybe the opposite. Maybe like one of them was really tough. Figure out where those are and start to get excited and embrace that. Like that shows you exactly where you need to just do a few more reps to clean it up. Because again, theory ain't a theory if you use it. And having letters, having numbers, having shapes, right? Here are the letters, here are the numbers, and here are the shapes, right? You're going to use all of them. And there will be times when you just have to fall back on putting your hands where you know the shape should be. Like if suddenly you're playing in B flat and you're less familiar with knowing how to label all the letters of B flat, but you can find the shape, then you can pull it off and you can get the gig and keep the gig. And later you can practice on your to-do list, which is to say that theory is all about applying pieces of it and then coming back to the drawing board and adding new layers. You know what I mean? We don't have a monthly plan, but we do have a quarterly plan, and we absolutely do have an awesome trial. Somebody just asked about the membership. It's fantastic. So many people here on a moment's notice are here from the community kicking it on a Sunday. I don't want to steal any more of their time because they spend a lot of time with me throughout the week and with each other. That's my favorite aspect of the community, is that people are really making real friendships and connections and collaborations. We do far more than just lessons, which is a lot, but we have these chances for people to share their music and dare to share and win prizes. We make it fun. We can track our progress, all the good stuff. So we're having a great time. I could not be more excited about what we have in store. Come join us. You get 2 weeks totally free. If you want to jump in right away and pay for the quarterly plan, there's no free trial, but when you do the free trial, you get 2 weeks. You could cancel on day 13. If you're going to be that way, it's fine. But I want you to only stay if you dig it. So anyway, and anything that we teach like this theory, I was like, are we going to teach theory this week? It's like, okay, but I'll teach it only if we use it. So let's keep using it. Some of you might be familiar with, and let me know if you are, with the understanding of like the whole step, half step way of thinking of the major scale. Okay. Let me know if you're familiar with this, the whole, half, whole, half. I want to get a feel for that. Does anyone use that or rely upon that when they try to think of how to walk their way through a major scale? Yes or no? James Davis got your guitar. That's great. Grab the guitar. This is interactive all the way. And if you're watching this on the replay, that's great. These are non-perishable lessons. I promise this is stuff that, sure, we're going to be referencing the Super Bowl. Sure, in this timeline, we don't know who won yet, but you do if you're watching in the future. And so come on back and place your money on whoever won. All right, what do we got? So yeah, a lot of people use that understanding of the whole, half, meaning what we're doing here. If you look at the spacing here, and the piano keyboard's good for this. Between C and D is a whole step. On a guitar, that's 2 frets. On a piano, you know, it's just the very next white key. Between D and E is a whole step. Now between E and F is a half step. That's really, really useful to know, because if you can start to recognize, okay, the half step happens there, that gives a sound. That gives you the sound of the suspension, the sus4. Oh, does that ring a bell? Like when you play a sus4 chord, you're suspending, you're playing the 4, you know, free falling. We typically see this, we get taught D sus4 usually because it's such a nice comfortable grip. Play D sus4 for a second. That's what that is. That's that 4 going down by 1 fret and resolving. So what I'm getting at is that it's really good to understand that there's the whole steps and the half steps. But even better would maybe just have a rule in your head to be like, oh, in a major scale, there is a half step. And it only happens in 2 places, but it's very important. It happens between the 3 and the 4, and it happens between the 7 and the 1. And more important than just the theoretical knowledge, which is great, that's the name of the lesson, is the understanding that has a particular sound on your ear. So that major 7, that 7, has a real sound, and whenever I say sound, you can think of that as saying like it has a flavor, it has a texture. And right away, when I play that major 7, that B, that open B string, that sounds like a smooth major 7 chord, right? Because frankly, that brings in a little bit of nice tension because they're only 1 fret apart. And they have this really kind of cool, like close harmony, but it creates something beautiful. So understanding where, that's a freaking fly. I'm going to turn into like whatever, like a Wile E. Coyote or something chasing this friggin' fly with Acme products. They should be a sponsor. So 7 and 1, 3 and 4. Let's play a little bit more. In fact, I think I have maybe, yeah, so we have this little like droning C. Okay, and let's just run this scale a little bit more and see if we can say it and play it. Here we go. 1, 2 from this C right here, and we'll go a little bit faster, and let's say it with letters. 1, here's the real count in. 1, 2, 3, here we go. C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, and then just relax. This is less about eating your vegetables and running a major scale as much as it is about seeing all these connections. Okay, let's go high to low from this right here. 1, 2, 3, walking down. C, B, A, G, F, E, D, C. And then hit a chord, okay? Now let's see if we can do it in numbers. Going low to high. Using the numbers only. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. Then hit a C chord. You know, this time let's go low to high and let's go all the way to the top of this shape. So we're going to go all the way up to that G. And let's use the numbers. 1, 2, starting here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now let's go high to low starting on this. What note is that? That's the 5, that's the G. By all means, use this as like a practice chart. Line it up. Start to understand that the 5 in this key is G, right? The 5 in a different key is going to be a different letter, but for here, it's good to understand, okay, the 5 is the G. That sort of makes sense. That might even ring a bell as to why, oh yeah, when I play a 5 chord, it's a G. It comes from the same positioning, okay? Let's go high to low starting on this G. 1, 2, 3, 4, G, F, E, D, C, B. I guess we were going to do numbers there. I faked you out. Let's do it again real quick using numbers. 1, 2, starting on the 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, let me check in with you now. In a word, describe how is this cooking your brain so far? So far, the information. Is it like mild? Let's think about this in terms of salsa heat. Describe this in terms of salsa heat, the stuff that I've given you to work on so far mentally. And try to really take into account that I'm asking for the understanding, okay, we got the letters, we've got the whole step, half step relationship. We got understanding really clearly that half steps happen here and here. We got the number situation. Would you describe this as like spicy, as mild as fuego. Did I lose everyone? Is the stream still going? I suddenly can't see anyone. It's tasty. All right, that's good. That's a good middle of the road. We want the flavor more than the heat. Although I do love the heat. Right after this, I'll have you know, I'm going to be making a batch of my signature cornbread, but it's going to be called red zone cornbread, because there's going to be a section of it. If it's like a football field rectangle, you get the idea. You see the picture. There's going to be the 10-yard line, and in that range, there's definitely going to be some habaneros just swimming around below the surface. And if you're crazy enough to go into that territory, you've been warned. You might have a 2-minute warning of a different sort before you can get to the toilet. The toilet. Okay, good. We can handle it. We can keep on going. So let's keep on going, my guitar friends. How are we doing over there in Facebook land? Not a lot of people over there. James, if you're still there, say hi. Instagram, if you're over here, say hi. Can you explain what the difference is when using scales and chord shapes? This is good. We're headed that way. My local legal network. We're totally all over that. So stay tuned. Grab your guitar. This is really going to be right up your alley. In Alabama, nice, excellent cornbread. You probably make the real deal with the cast iron skillet. I think I'm going to do the kind with the pan. I don't like the sweet cornbread. I like the more savory, and definitely when we're going with the sweet heat, we might sneak in a little bit of cheddar in there and then just bam, hit them with the habaneros, because it's not really even so much. I make a lot of good classic cornbread. This is just for my entertainment. This is recreational cornbread. Okay, now let's look at this a little bit deeper and get into the fun stuff, maybe with the chord tones. But before we do, we're going to play a game that is going to be nice and musical. Now that we've got this mapped out, you can use these numbers and these letters. I'm going to do a game where I'm going to give you a few numbers. I'm going to list off a few numbers, and you're going to play that like a melody, so that we're not just always playing linear. So let's say if I say 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4, and then 5, 2, 1. You would go 1, 3, 4, 5, 2, 5, 2, 1. That's kind of nice, right? 1, 3, 4, 5, 2, 1. But the goal is that, can you stay in this position? Because maybe sometimes when you suddenly need to skip around, you might jump to a different spot. See if you can stay constrained to this little section here, because that's going to make you better and better at that shape, so that you have real understanding of where the notes are, so that we can jump around within that. So let's do that. Let's use that exact sequence right now. I'll draw it up here. And you can kind of play it in the phrasing that I did as far as the timing. Don't worry about that so much as just getting the sequence right, okay? I just accidentally hit a shortcut on my Mac that made all the screens go away. That was fun for a moment, for me at least. Okay. And let's do this low octave. Here we go. So it'll be like this. A 1, a 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 3, 4, 5, 2, 1. And again. 1, 3, 4, 5. Could you do this with the letter names? C, E, F, G, D, C. Try it some. I'll play some bass for you. Chowda. Real quick check-in. How did that go? Did it go all right? Let me know, and then we'll proceed. What's something else we could do with this to just keep expanding this idea? I hope you realize that on the surface, like if you're just joining us, you might be looking at this. Someone might be saying, I know the C major scale. And usually when someone says that, just to be real with you guys, I've seen it a lot of times. What someone thinks knowing a major scale is that they have one position that they can play C major pentatonic in. And then they think that's all that's required, because for the first phase of beginner and even into beginner intermediate, it's quite the accomplishment, and I do mean this as an actual compliment, to be able to find a new key, to be like, and jamming along and playing quote unquote no wrong notes. And you might find yourself playing the full major scale. But I'm betting this guitar that usually what that means when someone says they know the major scales, that they know where to put their fingers for one particular position of it, and they can do And they can kind of just play it very slowly and linearly. That's being able to walk through it. That you can walk through it. That's not song speed. That's not versatility. If you can talk through it, you can say, yeah, C's that scale that has no flats or sharps. Great. Check mark, but you're not all the way there. If you can walk through it and be like, well, and then it's this one, and then there's that string that does that one, you can walk through it. But if you can rock through it, then you could actually just hop around randomly, and you could ideally reach a point where you're like playing a little phrase and like improvising ideas, and then you can maybe do like and just get more versatility with it, and you could then be doing them in a different position. So you have this fluency, because I'm telling you, as you start to trust that if you know where the 1, the 3, and the 4 is, the 5 and the 2, all these things within each of these positions, you have so much more confidence going into battle, like depending on what the key, what the tempo is, all that kind of stuff. So let's try to take this exact lick right here before I throw a new one at you. And let's play it up here in this upper octave. See if you can just find it. Down here it was 1, 3, 4, 5, 2, 1. Can we find that here? 1, 3, 4, 5, 2, 1. Right? It seems like we're playing Mel Bay Book 1, Page 1. Sure, but this is not about flashiness. This is about the ability to have random access mastery. A lot of people can do the linear thing where they're like, yeah, I can play a major scale. I already gave that rant. I love me some rants. Here we go. 1. Let's play this lick in the upper octave. Here we go. Can we play it down in the lower octave? Remind yourself it's 1, 3, 4, 5, 2, 1. 1, 3, 4. Da, da, da. Let's do one more here, and I want to get this from you guys. Give me a sequence don't tell me your ATM pin, but nobody has to know. Give us a 4 or 5 number sequence, obviously between numbers 1 and 7, and let's just randomly use it as a way to move around. Try to not make it too linear. They can have sections of it, but looking at you, audience, give me a 4 or 5 note, whatever it is, and we'll just sort of throw it together. We'll just put it up there. Joe Brown over there watching, loving, just learn the scales. Like, you can kind of take a bite out of this wherever it's resonating with you. Mike Calderwood saying 1, 4, 5, 6, 2. Ooh, ending on the 2. Spicy. That might be tasty and it might be spicy. 1, 4, 5, 6, 2. It's 6, 7, 5, 3, 0, 9. Okay, let's try this. Then we'll move to different keys, then we'll get into chords. We'll kind of pick up the pace here. Here we go. So get your head wrapped around where you find these. Okay, there's 4, there's 5, there's 6, and then there's 2. Oh, no, wait, there's 2. Okay. Ready? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 4, 5, 6, 2. 1, 4, 5, 6, 2. You keep playing some variations of that. See if you can just find it, most of all, in your own time. 1, 4, 5, 6, 2. Could we do that with the letters? C, F, G, A, D, and then we'll resolve it. Good stuff. Okay, let's jump ahead a bit. I'm going to leave this stuff here on the board to demonstrate to you that when we switch to different keys, when we switch the letters up there, the spacing will all stay the same. That'll make sense, right? So look at that. Look at that. We just moved to the key of G. What changed when we moved to the key of G? I'll help you answer these things. I know we got kickoff to get to. We got guac to make over here. We picked up 1 sharp. All the other notes are the same. Of course, it's a different order and all that. But it's, we started on G and we have an F sharp, and that would make sense. Let's slowly walk through this position right here. And we just switched to this position right here, down on the 6th string. Let's go through it slowly. So 1, 2, 3. We've got a G, G, real slow. A, B, C. There's that half step between those. D, E, and then we've got F sharp, and there's a half step between that and G. Let's keep going. There's the 2, there's the 3, there's the 4. Okay, that half step between the 3 and the 4 again. There's a 5, there's a 6, there's a 7, there's a 1. Let's jump now. We're going to jump right back into the music maker right here. So we've got this droning G now. I'm going to throw you right into this game to demonstrate to you. You take with you, each time you do this, you're going to take with you that same knowledge and you build upon it. Okay. All right, let's do a melody. We'll do 5, 3, 4, 7, and then we'll resolve to 1. Okay? 5, 3, 4, 7, 1. So try to find those notes before we dive in. We've got this scale position. We're in G. Okay. So the 5 is going to be the D. The 3 is going to be the B. The 4 is going to be the C. And then the F sharp. I'm demonstrating, by the way, when I'm doing this, what you should try to do is do a little pre-flight checklist so that you don't just pop off and try to play the lick without seeing your way to the end of the sentence. There's a sweet spot where you want to try to get an overview of like, okay, I got to do this, this, and that. It's just like planning your steps and then play it, with gusto. So let's try playing it with gusto now. Who's gusto? All right. A 1, a 2, 1, 2, 3. We got 5, 3, 4, 7, 1. Great, let's do it again. Here we go. 5, 5, 3, 4, 7, 1. Can we do that with the letters now? We got D, B, C, F sharp, G. Could we maybe find a way to do this an octave higher? This is going to be spicy. We got 5. Oh, I hit the wrong note. Okay. All right. Teacher failed you there. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. That is incorrect. Let's try it again. 1, 2, 3, starting on the 5. 5, 3, 4, 7, 1. 1, 2, 3. One more time. 3, 4, F sharp, G, jabba dooba dee dee dee. Now we're going to talk about chords, and then we're going to wrap up after that with chords and chord tones, meaning everything we're doing right now is the single notes within the major scale, understanding how a major scale is constructed, because the major scale is the DNA from which the chords are born. And tell me whether or not you know this, that if you've ever asked yourself, well, what chords go together in the key of G major in this case? Could be C major, could be anything. Did you know, or do you know, that every single chord that goes together naturally as the built-in chords that work together, sometimes you might hear the term diatonic. They're the ones that I say are like, they come from the standard box of crayons. What I'm getting at is that when you have a major scale and the chords that are born from those notes, they follow a very simple, memorable, easy system. Can anyone tell me what that is? Because this is what we've been using all week, and it's common knowledge, but it might not be that widespread. It's more of like, this is how you would explain it to a 5-year-old, and it's valid. It's not the watered down version of it. My question is, can you tell me what's the easiest way to describe how we build the chords of G major from the notes in the G major scale? And we're perfectly positioned right now to have them. So Andrew is jumping into just the answer, saying, well, the way that you do it is to remember that you go major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, minor. And I assume that you're referencing that, like, oh, if you go to each one of these notes and you call that your root note, then you build a chord to be G major. You go to A and you build a chord. But What about the person who and this is a lot of you. This is like when a kid says, okay, like, well, why does it rain? Well, because the rain comes from the clouds. Or what are clouds? Why are there clouds? Well, because clouds are in the sky. It's sort of a vaporous form of water. Well, what's a vapor? Well, when like the questions unravel, and the question for you, Andrew, and anyone else who is saying, well, it's major, minor, minor, is be like, well, yeah, but one step before that, how do we get these chords? Why are these chords? And Andrew with the GWAD coming back with the answering his own question. We leapfrog. Watch this. Buckle up, bucko, because we've got your answer right here. To spell a G major chord, this may be a big old light bulb for you. This might be a big old yawn. Did you know that it is as simple as that? You just have to skip every other letter in the scale. I'm taking away some of this stuff on the screen. That's literally how you do it. You just go leapfrog. And you might be like, well, yeah, I knew that. I knew that G major is G, B, and D. But did you also know, let me see, can I erase this without erasing it? Did you also know that to build the next chord, the A minor, the reason that it's an A minor is because when you play that leapfrog game, the result is an A minor chord, right? Oh, awesome. Thanks for signing up. Guitar Quest ongoing. You are ongoing with your Guitar Quest in all the best ways. I wish you the best. Say hello. We're going to welcome you with open arms, with fretboard glowing, saying thank you. And we got lots of work to do together. It's going to be fun. That's how you build the B minor. You literally just play that leapfrog game. Okay, great. Just file that away. You could do this in if you had a moment, waiting at the DMV, you had a piece of paper, you could write out the notes of a major scale. One, you would be training your brain to recall what are the notes, the letters of a major scale. And then if you just played circle every other, you would be spelling out the chords of that key. If we continue the game, C, E, G, that gives us C major. That's the 4 chord. We do D, F sharp, we skip over the G, we land on A. That's the 5 chord. This is badass. This is the type of thing that exactly is why. This is your reason why we have what we call the Nashville number system, or just the chord number system. So the 1 chord, and this is why I'm switching to the Roman numerals. Music is very confusing. We use a lot of letters and numbers all over the place. I get it. It's super confusing. We use different symbols for the chords and crap like that. It is very confusing. I'm not going to fight you on that, but we try. We're using the Super Bowl Roman numerals. I mean, look at the Super Bowl. That's confusing with the LLXXVI or whatever. Actually, isn't this year like a round number? You can tell I'm excited to wrap this up and send you guys on your way. I don't want to keep you too long. So those are the chord numbers. And if you're like, well, how do I know what those chords are? You can use your knowledge that, what Andrew was saying earlier, it's a major and minor, blah, blah, blah. But using this leapfrog game, if I go G, B, D, that is exactly how you could fill in the grid. So I'll list them off. Okay, G, B, D. And imagine that we're sort of like going through each of those. It'd be A, C, E. You can do this. It's going to look like a lot of letters, but I'm just playing the claw game and picking them up from the major scale. B, D, F sharp. And you can be reminding yourself, okay, that's the minor chord because it's the 3rd chord. Okay, and then the 4th chord, well, that's a major chord because it's a capital Roman numeral. That's, again, why we do the capital and the lowercase, is to try to help remind ourselves, like, yeah, that is the major one. That is another major one. E, G, and B. Okay, I got a question, a follow-up question. This is the tricky one, or the outlier. This is the diminished one, but don't be scared, because remember, the scale is going to tell you what notes to fill in there. You just have to keep playing the leapfrog game. And then we got the G, B, D again. That's just a repeat. Does anyone know how 7th chords, if you're aware of minor 7th chords, major 7th chords, dominant 7th chords, how do we build 7th chords? If you've ever been confused as to like which one should I use? Is it major 7th or dominant 7th? Why is it called dominant 7th? Are they the same thing? First of all, no, they're not. They have similarities, but this is where it gets different. Leapfrog one more, just leap one more, leap one more. This is like Price is Right, and I love it. They're just telling me what we already went over this week in our workouts. If you don't know, my name is Guitar Friend Tim, and we have this amazing community, and we do guitar workouts together live every night of the week, and sometimes on the weekend, sometimes on Sundays. One of those kind of things. They can't get enough. And this is what we've been working on all week. So the audience members that I've planted there, who've come of their own volition to just sort of shout out the answers, amazing, good on you. And they're helping us sort of fill this in. So in order to spell a G major 7 chord, I play that leapfrog game and I just leap one more. Gang, you just have to You just have to do it one more within that scale, and it will tell you, it'll Ouija board out the answer so that you just follow that system. And then that is why the one chord in a G major scale, I could play it as a regular G major, and that would be correct. If I wanted to do, that's 3-part harmony. That's when I just took 3 of those notes. That's GBD. We know that that works, right? Trust me, we know that that works. If we went one more letter by doing the leapfrog game, we get the next note that becomes a 4-note chord. So it's okay with me if you regard these 4-note chords as the jazzier ones, as the ones with sprinkles on top. That's fine, but just understand that it's built on a major or a minor or a diminished, like, sort of foundation. That's the cake. And then the frosting is this 7th note. When I say 7th because it's the 7th degree, it gets its name because, remember, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's how it gets its naming system there. And there's a little more to that, but for right now, that's exactly what you need to know. So for the A, we do A, C, E, we skip over F sharp and we get G. All right, you tell me, help me fill this in. We got to move quickly. We got this B, D, F sharp. What's the 4th letter we need to fill in for the B minor 7, right? The B minor is, yeah, and if you continue leaping, you can leap right off into the cosmos, and it gets into extensions, which would be the 9ths, and beyond the 9th, you could get into 11ths and 13ths. But for the core quality of these chords, it's really about triads, which is major, minor, diminished, augmented, and then it's about 7th chords, which is what we're doing right now. These are the meat and potatoes. All right, thank you. A, C, E, G, B, D, F sharp, A, C, E, G, B, D. I'm just following the same leapfrog game over and over and over again. This brings us to a very exciting thing, at least if you ask me. And not that you did, but here we are. So let's play through this a little bit. And these are the kinds of things that, I'm not saying that what I have up there on the board is like a piece of cake. It's a lot, but you can see how it's not like crazy rocket scientists. It's just a lot of information. And if you take it bite size at a time, it's like how, counting on your fingers is okay for a while, then getting arithmetic together, your pluses and minuses, and then dividing and multiplication. Like, they're layers of complexity that pick up where the last one left off, and they're going to give you more flexibility. If you only could do, multiplication by counting on your fingers, you'd never be able to keep up with the pace of life. And if you could only do it by saying 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5, it would take a lot longer. These types of things that I'm showing you help you condense the information. So yes, at first it'll be really thorough, and this is not something you have to do, but if you were to list out those notes and match what those letters are with where they light up in the scale position, you'd have a really good understanding of, for example, how to do arpeggios and how and why the chord tones that really make a chord sound the way they do. So from this, we're gonna wipe the slate clean, but we're gonna stay in the key of G. Let me see if I'll turn that away. And then now what I need from you, from a willing audience member, let's give me a chord progression in G. And it doesn't need to be fancy. Let's use the chords that are native to this major scale. So we're not going to borrow any chords from outside. That's for another day. That's Theory 2.0, and that's great. But right now we just want to have the basic diatonic chords. Give me a chord progression, and you could tell it to me in terms of chord numbers. Okay, we got to go in here. G, E minor, C, and D. A classic. Earth Angel, Earth Angel. Okay, so I'm just gonna write these chords. I'm gonna shrink that map until it goes away. So we've got G. I'll just put that away there. G, E minor. I'm writing this a little bit bigger. That's our chord chart, and we're just going to loop that. This is going to pay off, and then we all get 7-layer dip. All of us. I'm going to send everyone 7-layer dip. International shipping be damned. Perishable. It's going to be great. This is the 1 chord. This is the 6 chord, and this is the kind of stuff that is great to just quiz yourself on and fill it in and make sure you understand that each time you do that, you're going to get faster. Each time you do that in different keys, you'll start to know that, like, oh, the 4 chord in C is F, and all that kind of stuff. So let's do what we just did. We're going to spell out this chord. Go ahead and tell me, fill it in, and I'll be filling it in as well. Tell me what 4 notes I would use to spell out the chord tones of each of these chords, if you would. I'll give you the first one. G, B, D. This is what we just did, but now we have a specific chord progression, right? So that's where I'm coming from, in case you're wondering, like what this is. I'm making sure that this is fitting on the vertical. Yeah, G, B, D, F sharp. Great. That's our first chord. For our next chord, I'll turn off the piano keys there on the horizontal so we can see that. What would it be? It's going to be E. Oh boy, this Apple Pencil has a mind of its own. E, G. What else we got? E minors. E, G, B, D. Great. All right, Andrew, just crushing it there across the pond. Love it. C, E, G, B, D, F sharp, A, C. Now, who can tell me, as we look at this, all we've done is that we've taken these three chords, 4 chords in the truth, and we've spelled out their chord tones from within the scale. So just to remind you, what makes a G major, and to be more specific, now that we've done the 4-note versions of these scales, we actually turn that into a G major 7, right? It's a different sound, but the underlying triad, which is these 3 notes, is the same. It's built on the same chassis, right? It's not an entirely different chord. It's just a more souped up version of it. This becomes an E minor 7, this becomes a C major 7, and this becomes just a regular D7. How about that? Just file that information away. So we've got these in columns, basically. That chord is built up of those 4 notes, and it continues like that. So I want you to see that as we look vertically, each one of these columns represents those chords. Now, if I were to put the numbers over here, what are the numbers right here? Help me fill in the rest of that. There's the 1, meaning that's the, if I look at them horizontally, these are all the roots, right? These are all the ones of each of those chords, right? So if we had to play the bass line of playing the roots, we played G, E, C, D. That makes sense, right? Okay, so we talked about how we see it vertically, and that spells out the chord tones. Now we're looking at it horizontally. How would I fill in the rest of these? What would this number be? What would this number be? What would that number be? Somebody tell me. Just as far as what are each of these chord tones? We've got the roots on row 1. We've got the thirds of each chord, right? We've got the 5th of each chord, and we've got the 7th of each chord. Now the 3rd and the 7th might be major, might be minor, depending on the chord. It's a G major chord, so that's a major 3rd. That's that B. And it's a major 7th. That's that F sharp. Whereas with the E, we have a minor chord. So we have E to G is a minor 3rd. And E to D is a minor 7. Now we're going to have all the fun in the world. Shouldn't the G and the E minor 7 be a G flat? No, actually, because a minor 3rd is E to G. A major 3rd would be E to G sharp. Right? So sometimes, I'm sure you know that. Adams Gomez, I know you know that. Just double check that because this is where the scale really helps us out. There would never be a G flat if we're using only the notes within the G major scale. That helps us understand. There could totally be a G flat in the chord if that's what we wanted to do, but that would be borrowing from outside of the key. There's all kinds of songs, countless songs that we love that go outside of the major home key. That's part of why we like it. But once you learn this sort of baseline understanding of this is kind of vanilla, sure, whatever you think about it, that's not even the point. The point is that this is the starting point, and then you'll understand when you see exceptions to the rule. If I were to see a G sharp right there, that's a really cool chord. That no longer is E minor 7, that's an E7. That would be... That's great. Already you can hear that going a bunch of different directions, but that G sharp does not come from the home key of G major. That's borrowed from somewhere else, right? Okay, gang. So now I want you to just see what it's like if we simply do this. We're just going to play the word search game. We're just going to circle the roots, and now we're going to play. We're going to find those roots here on this fretboard diagram up in the higher register. So go ahead and find those notes, because we're going to play along now with the chord progression. I'll loop the chords, and we'll be playing with the chord changes. We're not going to get a Grammy, but we might. I mean, I got a Grammy, but not for playing scales. So G, E, C, D, So notice that. Notice how this is going to make your brain work to be like, oh, I can't just go down here because we don't need to be playing those low roots along with the chords. I'll show you what I mean. Yeah, we'll use that beat. 1, 2, 3. Just building the loop now. Now we have to play these notes when the chords change. You see that? And this is just to make it more musical and to move with the changes. G, and then E, C, D. Playing this and add a little bit of sauce, maybe approach it. But I'm still targeting just that note. Great, let's keep it interesting. Let's just see what happens when we go down to this line. Those are our new notes. So try to find them in that same area there of the fretboard. So we got B, B, then there's G, then there's E. Interesting, and then F. Keep it up now. B, G. So I'm playing the third of each of those chords as they go by. Let's see what this beat is like. Oh, I like that. A little bit smoother. With them congos and bongos. Great, let's go down one more line. Hopefully you're just hearing that this is not about better or worse. It's just hearing the differences of these qualities. So these are going to be just the fifth of each chord. And again, they're all just coming from the G major scale. One more time. I'm doing some articulations. Let's go down to the sevenths. These are going to be interesting because these are the more sprinkles on top. These are more the jazzier notes. I know, I should be dragged out into the street for just oversimplifying it that way. But here we are, F sharp. D. B. That's beautiful, right? Now, I bet you're wondering, well, wait, can we make it more like, yeah, we can. Look at that. G, 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 C. Well, surely this couldn't sound cool. I don't know. Define cool. Baby shark. Just a bunch of G's and then a C. Let's try going diagonal the other way. F sharp bed. Okay, make sure you can find it. It gets quicker each time you do it. I love that. Lovely. Do that all day. All right, checking in with y'all. Is it making sense? Is it making dollars and cents? Is it fun? Is it unlocking anything? Is it flummoxing you, frustrating you? Because to me, this little way of inching our way up to like, okay, we understand the major scale. We get an overview of why it's important to understand the letters, the numbers. The numbers are the things that can go with you to any key. Those are the jersey numbers on the players. That's a movable shape. The shape itself, and understanding like, oh, if I get to know that this shape of G major isn't just about playing no wrong notes. Like, oh, how do I play notes that don't get me in trouble? But I actually start to know like, oh, there's the fifth. Yeah, and I know that the fifth has the sound that it has. And it's sort of a nice jumping off spot for some of the licks that I like. I do that. It starts to be a connection to like hearing ideas in your head before you play them. That's when theory starts to move and start to be like, oh yeah, it gives me confidence. It gives me breathing room in my head, bandwidth, so that I can make decisions on the fly, whether that's in the middle of the song, when you're improvising, or when you're writing a song, or when you're learning a song. It will train your ear. You'll be able to find things more quickly instead of just hunting around in the dark and acting and falling back on the excuse that, well, I guess you're either born with it or not. All that stuff is like, it's very elastic, and you've got to spend time taking a bite out of it, where it's like, okay, I think I understand this key. Maybe you only have a few keys that you're really good at. That's fine. Don't fall for the trap of thinking that you're supposed to know all 12 keys equally well. Otherwise, it's not worth it. No, you're going to have the caged keys better than other keys. You're a guitar player. You're going to like E more than you like other keys. You're going to continue to like A minor as the key that gets called out at a blues jam as opposed to A flat minor. You're going to like what you like, and that's fine. But really know it. Really get it so that you could not only just run this scale, but you could be like G, F sharp. Sure, it'll be slower. You might be real fast when it's just that, but the moment that you bring in a layer of information, it should slow you down. You should be going through mud for a little bit. It'd be like G, F sharp, D, E, fine. You should also be able to then be like, 1, 7, 6, 5, all that kind of stuff. Just find ways to take this information and run it through its paces. And that's all this is right here. It's kind of a fun game. I get it. It's not like some kind of textbook way, maybe it should be, of learning, but it's a great overview that whenever these chords are happening, you have an opportunity to play a lot of stuff. But how about if you started by playing notes that are in the chord? I know, that's the news flash. And remind yourself that they're only going to come from the notes that are in the home scale, the home key, right? And these are not the be all end all. This is just a great starting point. Calf deck is finally here just in time for us to wrap up. So I'm going to do some other, circle some other patterns here just to show you that you could get creative with this, and you could do the snake game and all that. And that's what we've been doing throughout the week, which it's like, you could just spend some time on a Sunday. You could have the game on with the sound off, and you could, what am I going to do with you guys? All right. Okay, 1, 2, find D. Find B. I like this. And by all means, get some frisky, get frisky with it and play some other ideas. Break the game whenever you get bored. Then maybe come back to it halfway through. Gang, I'm going to let you go. This has been a fun Theory Blitz. Thanks for sticking with me. To my members, you're amazing. Fantastic. I am most proud of this community and how we all treat each other. It's just nothing but upbeat people at all different levels of guitar. We don't tolerate any shenanigans or ego. It's really just about like pushing ourselves forward in the name of enjoying guitar as we get better. Enjoying the scenery as we go. Because here we are. We still love guitar. It's not going anywhere. Knock on wood. And have fun. If you want to join us, you get 2 weeks to see if it's a good fit. Just dive in and dive into some 7-layer dip. I'm telling you, I'm going to have some chili. I'm going to have some cornbread. I'm going to have the Diablo cornbread that I'm going to make. I'm going to make sure that everybody has a really cool time. We're going to put the theory to work. We're going to just be good.